Hello and welcome to some more Star Citizen. We're going to be talking about the last couple of Alpha 3.23.0 EPTU patches. We are still in Wave 1 in terms of amount of participants for these and where we are before actually getting out to live, but the patches are getting more and more full of content, and they finally enabled the Vulkan renderer. So let's jump into one of these patches and have a quick chat about it. The Vulkan renderer has now been enabled in Star Citizen, but is considered beta. This new renderer will be off by default, but has been added to the graphics settings menu. In this first release, the focus is on hardware and driver issues, stability, and any major performance issues. At this point, we do not expect Vulkan to be outperforming DirectX 3D11 on the CPU usage due to the fact that we haven't enabled multi-threading of the renderer submission yet, but do expect CPU performance to be within a 30% margin. Once we have multi-threading enabled, we expect a significant net gain. On the GPU side, we would be closer to parity. Performance improvements and stability improvements will be ongoing throughout 3.23, with the aim to make Vulkan the default and more performant as an implementation in the following release. In the meantime, we appreciate any and all feedback towards this. Additionally, you may also see a few new folders in the Star Citizen app data. This is all relating to new graphic settings, Vulkan's shader cache, the Vulkan's pipeline cache, and CIG want you to be aware to update your graphics drivers to their latest versions, because there may be functionalities required for Vulkan there. There's a planetary weather performance pass, optimizations to the default planetary ground storm effects, including removing settings that were forcing the levels of detail to be non-deterministic. There's been some tweaks to Hurston's wind. They've adjusted transit systems with the way they work with server crash recovery so that it works more appropriately. NVIDIA shadow map memory performance has been optimized. Viz area performance has been optimized. Physics thread has had some optimizations. There's been a water performance pass, and water is looking pretty good now, and sort of deforming, and waves and sort of depressions and stuff in it are looking pretty good. Still a way to go with that and pretty much everything else with the Star Citizen, but yeah, it's all starting to get there. Operator mode and UI updates. So they've moved the default binding to enable quantum drive to left mouse button. There's now long presses of B to swap master modes. They've optimized pitch ladders and disabled them, and top greebles when Mobigas is open or in a ship seat. They've updated control hints to prompt to change master mode if not in the correct mode when prompting to change operator mode. Changing operator mode, middle mouse button. Updated hints were applied for ships. Mobigas, text readability and UIs had a polish pass. Grimhex is now part of the minimap system. They've modified AI pilot traits to lower difficulty of early game bounty mission AIs. Mass drivers and Singes are now charge cannons, and they've had a full rebalance on damage, speed, lifetime, and mass. I haven't actually tried those yet, but I'm interested to know what people think of them. A couple of Arena Commander updates. They've added the ability to mute, unmute players via the scoreboard for voice over IP, and they've removed auto invites for parties. They've updated the 400i, Sulan, the Halsey, and Carrack external elevator panels to a new standard as well. And then there was another patch which was released on the 16th of April. Here they had the Copion and Marok, the new creatures there, and they had an audio polish pass. Further updates were made to interior maps for planet zones and Rastar locations. Quantum dampening will now limit ships to their SCM speeds, making nav mode ineffective. They've updated star map names and descriptions for distribution centers. They've adjusted quantum drive spooling times, so these are now between 2 to 12 seconds for size 1 to size 4 drives respectively. Weapon balance. They've reduced ranges, velocity, and damage of Singes and mass drivers. Ship weapon tuning. They've added heat to ballistic weapons and increased ammo count of all ballistic weapons. Grenade updates have been made as well, so they fixed grenades not going as far as they should and increased the min radius from 3 to 4 and the max radius from 4.75 to 8. So that's quite a big increase in radius there. Further performance updates have been made to help reduce micro stutters while playing the game. Further improvements to Vulkan, to the shader cache, location updates for optimizations, and minimap performance improvements have been made. They've also been solving problems with entity leaking, so optimizing the amount of entities, and they don't want huge amounts of entities sort of don't get cleaned up properly or cause sort of performance problems. So yeah, these patches are adding more and more and more. We're getting closer to opening up to more waves of the PTU or EPTU. I would expect more waves later this week. Are we going to make a end of April release for live? I suppose it's going to be between end of April and early May. There's a load of features that still need testing and ironing out. However, I think that it could move pretty quickly after they open up to more PTU waves. So we'll have to sort of wait and see. There's a load of like those extra features as well that they've been adding, like the quite expansive economy update, loads of additional combat and flight updates, Xenothreat 1.2 and the Idris interior and boarding. There's going to be some hover bikes probably turning up. There's Fleet Week updates as well, because we're going to have Fleet Week in May. Lots of weapon balance and that sort of stuff going on as well. So yeah, pretty excited by Alpha 3.23. Now, I did see some dev responses about Vulkan, which I would want to talk about. So Vulkan isn't properly in yet. I mean, it's integrated into the game to an extent. It's working with some bugs, and some people are going to have a good time with it, others not so much. It's not really optimized, and it's not as refined as the Direct3D 11 support that they currently have. So CIG did say a couple of things here. Multi-threaded rendering will unfortunately not be enabled for 3.23, but will come in a future release, either with a 3.23.x patch or the next major patch, which assumedly is 4.0. The rendering code mostly supports being run on multiple threads and cores in parallel, just a few small changes left to do to it. However, the complexity comes in how we schedule this work in our job system. Currently, the main thread creates and schedules all jobs for the game, and the jobs and other threads can't create new jobs themselves. This is an intentional design decision, which we want to keep for efficiency. However, the rendering currently runs on its own dedicated thread, and because of this, it can't create any jobs for splitting the workload of generating the Vulkan command lists. As such, we may need to turn the rendering thread itself into a job, such that we can schedule it and all Vulkan work from the main thread together, but this could have some unintended knock-ons that we couldn't prioritize fixing ahead of stability issues and hitting the 3.23 deadline. There is an alternative shorter-term solution we may investigate that would allow us to kick some jobs on the main thread that run at the end of the frame, and these could attempt to steal work from the renderer thread, but this isn't ideal, as if the renderer thread runs particularly fast or slow, then these jobs may trigger too early or late to be effective. HDR support for Vulkan will likely come in the next major release after 3.23. DirectX 11 will be depreciated once Vulkan meets or exceeds stability and performance on the vast majority of hardware, hopefully in the next 1 or 2 major releases. This is because DirectX 11 doesn't support multi-threading or the latest hardware features, and so doesn't support much of the tech we have planned or in active development: ray tracing, virtual textures, bindless rendering, etc. DirectX 12 is not planned at present, as there's no clear advantage using that over Vulkan. Vulkan is continually being updated to include the latest technology. We're using version 1.3 plus some extra extensions. If a situation arises in the future, e.g. new APIs or versions come out, then we can reassess, but the majority of work for Gen 12 and Vulkan wasn't specific to Vulkan, but was about supporting the APIs that are a much thinner abstraction from the GPU, and thus if we did want to move to another API, the amount of work required would be vastly lower. So yeah, try Vulkan and see if it works for you, but realistically, you aren't going to see huge improvements or proper improvements until CIG refine it a bit, add some extra features to it, and then even then in the short term, it's still going to be users that were CPU bound that are going to see these big improvements. But beyond that, they are going to be adding a whole host of other improvements over time. You'll probably see normal graphics features start to be phased in. You'll see some solid optimizations and it should allow Cloud Imperium to put lots more prettiness into the game with a lot more efficiency when using your hardware. So hopefully, prettier Star Citizen. Well, in some other news this week in Star Citizen, we're going to have a roadmap update later today at time of recording, so later Wednesday, and then on Thursday we're going to have an Inside Star Citizen that's going to be looking at water simulation and rendering. Great, because that's good for them to talk about, seeing that we've now had that added to the game, at least to some degree. And then Friday, we've got a Star Citizen Live at 4 PM UTC on the Star Citizen Twitch about most things cargo. So this is a sort of rescheduled Star Citizen Live. But yeah, it's also your last chance to do the sort of overdrive missions. You should be able to do those for the next couple of weeks, most likely. So get involved with that before Xenothreat 1.2, the sort of new Xenothreat dynamic, well, updated dynamic event turns up, as that's a prelude to that. Really interested to know what you think of Alpha 3.23 in the latest EPTU patch. Do you think they're going to be able to make the end of April deadline, or do you not really care as long as it's soon after that? What's your experiences of Vulkan Renderer, or are you just going to wait until it's a bit more polished before you mess around with that sort of stuff? Whatever your thoughts or questions, I would love to hear from you in the comments below. Welcome to Jurassic Park. You want to see the wonders of the internet and protect yourself online? Come to Jurassic Park with the link nordvpn.com/BoredGamer, or click the ones below. They do move in herds. Nord was so preoccupied whether or not they could, they didn't stop to think if they should. Not only do you get big savings with that link, but also top-tier encryption and servers with no limits or borders. I want to be from sunny old England. I don't know why I'm doing an English accent, I am English. Or on the Isle of Newburgh, where the Jurassic Park set, then you can. You can be a clever girl. But remember, you didn't say the magic word. I can't remember any other Jurassic Park quotes. Get NordVPN today. Every month we have a ship giveaway. For April, we're giving away a Hornet F7C Mark II, that latest medium fighter. It also comes with a lifetime insurance and a game package, so you can play Star Citizen, bam, just with that. It's all you need to play. And if you get involved with the Overdrive Initiative missions, you may be able to upgrade that to an F7A Mark II. Just comment on any of my videos made during the month to be in for a chance of winning that. Every video is effectively another chance to win. Thank you so much for watching until the end of the video, and thank you so much to the people that support the channel and go that extra mile with the join button under my videos, giving a little bit each month. They get some exclusive content and badges and help shape the channel a little bit, but also help allow us to make a video pretty much every day. There's also Patreon for people that are interested in that. Any of the affiliate links below my videos help support the channel, but so does commenting and liking and subscribing and sharing these videos too. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the verse.